What's going on, guys? Welcome back to NolanTCG, and we are back here today for another deck profile, and it again is Sunavalon. So with the latest support coming out in Lightning Overdrive, I think it was, that's the set that literally just came out and I should remember it. Sunavalon did get some more extra deck support. Ultimately, we're not playing the Plant Link 4 that came out, the secret rare. I just didn't feel it's very good, so that's not going to be in this deck, so if you wanted to see something that utilizes that, it's unfortunately not going to be here in this video, but we are playing the other new stuff in this deck, and really feel as though we're taking as much advantage of it as possible. But before we do get started, as always, please remember to drop down below and hit that subscribe button if you are new here, because we're always happy to have new people on the channel. And let's get on into the deck profile. Okay, so starting us off, we of course have the card that you need to make the whole deck go round, and that is 3 copies of Sunseed Genius Loki. You just kind of have to have this. It summons most of the stuff out of your extra deck and toolboxes everything. You just need to find a way to get to this as quickly as possible, so we are of course always playing consistency cards. The main deck of this hasn't changed that much from the previous profile. The extra deck is where most of the work is, so that does mean we are still playing 3 copies of Sunseed Shadow, your primary extender to get you into some link plays. We have 1 copy of Sunseed Twin for when we're summoning out and extending off the Lonefire Blossom. 1 copy of Sunvine Maiden still to give you the protection from targeting if you decide to go that route on your plays. If you've bricked a little hard, it's always a good card you can search and just gives you that little bit of protection. Then we have the 3 copies of Lonefire Blossom, because it toolboxes essentially everything in deck. In this, you don't toolbox 1 for 1 for 1. You do want to have them at multiple points in your combo to access. Then for our one-offs, we've got 1 copy of Spore. Of course, he just recurs himself. He's a tuner, gets you into those synchro plays. 1 copy of Rose Girl, again, same thing, gets you into the synchro plays and is a good level to copy. And 1 copy of Snowdrop, because it contributes the Rika from hand, and then gets you another body on board. You can then manipulate with other things, because it can change its level. Then for the cards that are, essentially, if you open this, you have full combo as long as you have access to the level 1. That is 3 copies of Parallel Exceed, because it does get you into your Rika monster, that can then be tributed, and then away you go. And then we have 2 copies of Trick Clown, because you can use this to discard off the spell card, off Sunvine Shrine. Then it can summon itself back, do the burn damage, trigger off the Link 1, get you some resources, and then you go full combo. Then after this, for our hand traps, for this we're playing 2 copies of Vecfailer and 1 copy of DD Crow. Because we're playing Where Art Thou and we don't care about not using that normal summon and taking the 2k damage, we are playing like a bit more of a wider package now of the level 1 hand traps. Because you can just search the others, then of course just not normal summon them, take the 2k damage, get it back anyway, and then trigger off an effect. And then you just have this on your hand for next turn to hopefully wreck your opponent's day. Then getting into the spells, we have 3 copies of Sunvine Shrine, searchable off the Link 1, gets you the Reborn for the normal monster, of course. It doesn't really matter in this deck if you're open 2 of it, because it's not once per turn, it's just once per card. It does require the discard though, so that can be a little bit difficult. After that, 3 copies of Unexpected Die. Of course, it toolboxes out the Loki from your deck, so you may as well be playing 3 copies of Unexpected Die. As long as you don't open anything else that can conflict with this, you should be good to go. But pretty much nothing else conflicts with this in the deck. Otherwise, be bad. Then we've got, of course, 2 copies of Painful Decision. You don't want to open this in multiples, you just want to be able to activate 1. Gets you the Foolish and the add for the normal monster, and then full combo, hopefully. Hopefully you have something else and this is full combo. After this, Where Art Thou? Of course, you can search all those other level 1s. Now that we're playing the level 1 hand traps, this is like much more like of a toolbox. You can use it to access hand traps if you need to, or you can use it to access extenders and things if you need to. I think it's the Seed can just special summon it from hand, so you can just add it off Where Art Thou. Even if you've activated the Unexpected Die, you've summoned the normal monster, you can Where Art Thou and then still get the normal summon if you're worried about taking that burn damage. After this though, for some one-offs, we've got 1 copy of Super Solar Nutrient. Again, toolboxes out most of your deck. 1 copy of 1 for 1, because it can get you to that normal monster. And 1 copy of Monster Reborn, because it's a generic extender. If you do want to play more generic extenders, you can consider playing the World Legacy Succession, because you will generally have Link Arrows on your board that you can summon monsters to. For your traps after this, we've got 1 copy of Blessed Winds, because you're going to search it and then use it to pop an opponent's monster. And 1 copy of Sunavalon Bloom, because you want to use it to negate your opponent's board, and then kill them on the next turn. And then after that, of course, this card can be switched. We're just playing it because it is a hand trap and it is good. And that is 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, rounding out the main deck. Okay, into the extra deck now, and this is where the bulk of things have changed, not changes. I guess same thing. We're playing 2 copies of Sunavalon Dryas to start us off. We've cut this down from 3 because you can now recurve with one of the new Link monsters. So just 2's now all that's needed. 1 to start the combo. You can use 1 as a follow-up if you wish, or to get a monster off board for other plays. You will typically need another copy of Sunavalon Dryas if you're doing the standard combo, because you do need to target it with Sunvine Healer, which is the next card up. Still just required as a one-of, just Sunvine Healer. You can use it to target the Dryas when you're doing the full combo. Buffs you by 800 and then can trigger the effects that you need to trigger off. Typically, you'll be using it to trigger off your Jasmine, your Aromas Fairy. Next up, though, we are playing another one-of. It's Sunvine Gardener. I did say in the last video you can consider cutting this or 1 copy of Sunvine Thrasher. Ultimately, I've decided to cut a copy of Sunvine Thrasher to fit in the new stuff. Because Sunvine Gardener, just on the opponent's turn, gives you so much value. Just being able to, like, end your opponent's battle phase once they start attacking. Gives you the next turn to follow up if you are, like, in a bit of a problem. Then, of course, we do have 2 copies of Sunvine Thrasher. Of course, now this card is just a simple recursion with the Link 2. And then with the Link 3, you're just going to pretty much win the game if you can get to that situation. It is just a quick OTK. Then we are next off with our Link 2s. That's 2 copies of Sunavalon Dryas. You just going to, typically, if you're the worst end board you can end on is this, or it's just the Link 4 is the worst end board you're going to end on. Something respectable is the Link 4 plus this, because this can then trigger off and get you some follow-up for next turn. It can either like summon you a Sunvine Gardener and then give you some protection, or you can get out a big Sunvine Thrasher who's just going to be massive and then just threaten your opponent with it. Then for the new card, the other Link 2 is 1 Sunavalon Daphne. You just use it to shuffle back cards from from the deck into the extra deck. Grave into the extra deck, of course. Sorry, my apologies. And then, yeah, you can just get more resources for later, and you can transition this into the other new card, which is the Link 3. Last for the Link 2s, though, is the 1 copy of Aromas Fairy Jasmine. During the combo, you're going to want to try and set up this with the 1 copy of Dryas, and then 1 copy of Healer. The Healer can target the Dryas, trigger off the Jasmine, gets you the add, and then you kind of go ham from there. Then for the new card, we have 1 copy of Sunavalon Melius. I think that's how you say it, Melius. This is typically going to be your OTK. When it's Link Summoned, it can get you back the Sunseed Loki, which will then get you into a Thrasher. Then the Thrasher can just do absolutely massive amounts of damage. So, big good times, because the Sunavalon Thrasher can just attack, like, a lot. I think it would be able to, so you'd want to set up the Sunvine Thrasher plus the Melius and Link 4. That would give the Sunvine Thrasher 2 attacks, 3 attacks, I believe. Because I'm not sure if it counts the original attack. I haven't quite figured that one out yet, because it's never been really needed. The Link 4 is going to like be attacking for 4k, as well as the Sunvine Thrasher is going to be attacking for 4k at least twice. So, big damage there. Then, of course, we do have the Link 4. Link 4 searches you the trap, is then like at impermanence for the entire board, just shuts it all down. It's a skill drain. That's probably the better way to explain it. Then for the standard stuff, we've got the rank 4, in Shrenner, because then it can summon the Sacred Tree Hyperion Beast when you tribute it off. Of course, you do have the 2 ways to tribute it, being the Link 2 Aromas Fairy Jasmine, or you can tribute it off with the Aromage, not the Aromage main deck monster, the main deck monster from, I'm never good with remembering stuff, Snowdrive, the Rika Fairy, I did get it right, it was the Rika main deck monster. Then, of course, the last card in your extra deck, it is Sweet Marjoram. This is going to be used to search the trap and then get you that pop on your opponent's turn for that extra layer of disruption. But that wraps up here for the deck profile for this one. So as always, if you do have any recommendations or things you would change, do make sure to comment them down below. But as always, I've been Ben from NolanTCG, and have a good afternoon, everybody.